Alrighty, so hello everyone on YouTube. For the people on stream, you've been watching for a bit already, but for YouTube, we are playing ranked battles again with a focus on the vampire counts and the wood elves. Get some practice in with those factions. Now in best of threes, facing up against the greenskins of the treacherous one with our vampire counts to start, and he's gone ahead and brought a fairly small army. Like, it consists pretty heavily of skirmishers here, and basically just that, skirmishers and elite infantry. We have a lot of black orcs, savage orc big guns, and looks like some cavalry too, along with Grom. So we do have our black coaches at the ready, which will be able to do quite good there. Our skeleton spears can brace for the oncoming charge. They can brace. Okay, and it looks like they just barely do so, while our cavalry moves in and will clear out this infantry here. Let's see, some black orcs are going to be engaged onto my zombies in just a second. So we'll throw down a breath attack on top of them. And that should take out quite a few models. We do hit our zombies, but they are in fact just zombies, so not especially worried about that. And as for these skirmishers, I think if we just chase them off with our knights, should be good. Oh dear, one of our black coaches does get caught though, and absolutely murdered in a pool of black orcs. Definitely not optimal. Some brace spears get charged by the orc boys, which is good for us. But let's see here. We still got to be quite careful here. Our cavalry is getting out-skirmished pretty hard. A little bit of maneuvering, we can pull skirmishers apart, stop them from getting a full surround with their ranged shots, though. So we're just pulling this way. It will reduce the damage on my regenerating knights, and that should be good. Now, that is 2 units of greenskins dealt with now, but there's still more. We'll have to be careful. This river troll hag too could be a bit of a threat. But I think with some exposed black orcs here, we can probably get another nice pick. So that's going to be the goal. Hopefully we can achieve that before we run out of cavalry here. An overcast invocation of Nahek, please don't crash. Nice on our cavalry. We'll help them out. And it looks like they did okay damage to the black orcs, but we don't want to stay there for especially long. Now, while the main fighting goes on over here along the left-hand side, we definitely want to be using our black coach to we want to use our black coach to be cycle charging the greenskins infantry as much as possible. We also we also got some of our troops caught up due to a bad hotkey. But maybe we'll be able to salvage this situation by clearing out all of the greenskins here. We're going to summon a unit of spears, get in loads of damage onto this cavalry, and to stop them from escaping. And oh dear, we do get a huge fanatic bomb though, but thankfully it goes in the wrong direction. It means that we should have some pretty nice picks on the cavalry here. To really make sure that we win the fight though, we're going to overcast Nahek. And then just stick in it, I guess. We have a breath attack too, and I think once we launch that down into the boar boys, we should be good. Let's see how it does. It does quite well, but these greenskins are hardy, and man, they do quite a bit to my own cavalry here. Actually, getting a lot of my cavalry killed. Not the best situation, as we do indeed want our cavalry to cycle charge infantry, and it looks like they actually do get taken out, probably due to the black orc support that managed to come in. And it looks like this is likely gonna be game for us, given that we're running out of troops here. So let's see. We'll take stock of the battlefield though. See what we can do. We still have a bunch of summons left, so we're not without cycle charging. We have 1 breath attack, and I think it depends on if this black coach gets absolutely murdered or not. Good chance that it will, but we'll stick in it and see how this plays out. We might still be able to get some nasty breath attacks here, and that's what we're going to be throwing down. Hopefully that'll help us, but oh man, it misses center of mass, and we'll call it GG from here. So, pretty nasty game. I think we definitely took some bad engages. Getting hit by the skirmishers so much was pretty painful. Chasing them with the Varric's Reavers, I would say, was a misplay. We probably should have just been cycle charging the infantry more. I was quite surprised with how hardy these boys were, and I would say maybe Grom buffed them up, and I'm not sure. I'll have to be more careful around them next time, apparently. I'm also pretty confident there's an infantry surround on my cavalry too, which was quite painful. So, lots to work on. Lots to work on for sure. Let's see. For my lord, I think we probably could have tried sniping the River Troll Hag a bit more. I don't know if it would have been risky or not, but who knows? Oh yeah, and some Black Coach Micro too. Definitely a lot to him. So this next game, we're playing Wood Elves against the Lizardmen, fighting for our lives in this best of 3. Because if we lose this, then best of 3 is over for us. So we have a pretty aggressive rush build here with a whole ton of cavalry. We're going to be trying to sweep over all of these skinks here. There are actually, geez, there are a lot of skinks. Oh man, there's a lot of skinks. Not the best for my Wildwood Rangers here. But with the collapse of the cavalry, I think it's about time we just go ahead and march forwards. Orion can throw down his AoEs, and we want to get the engage as quickly as possible. Our cavalry charging in towards the skinks. Cold One Riders will be moving in too. And right before the charge meets the Lizardmen lines, we'll use the Horn of the Wild Hunt. Our Glade Captain is taking a lot of damage, and we'll have to see how well she does. She is taking a lot of damage, but we should be able to get on top of Mazda Mundi in just a second. And once that happens, we may be good. Let's see here. Orion should be able to jump on top of Mazda Mundi too. And we have our cavalry moving in also to support. So that's a huge collapse of the Lizardmen lines, but a big charge from these Cold One Knights comes in. We will simply pull away though, and then use these guys to take the charge. Afterwards, we move in with our Sylvan Knights, and that should be a very effective trade on the Cold One Riders. Meanwhile, our Dryad here just be healing up as much as she can, and oh dear, big banishment does come down. But as long as these guys hold, I think we'll be fine. Meanwhile, along the left flank, things are trading about evenly. And it could go either way along the left flank. But on the right, we appear to be doing quite well, having chased off the cavalry here. And Orion and the Glade Captain are also putting in a lot of damage onto Mazda Mundi. Oh man, the Cold One Spear Riders do come back though. And that does mean that my Wild Riders might go down. But man, are they great fighters. They actually do manage to take out the Cold One Spear Riders. So that's very great. Let's see, it looks like the left flank has traded about evenly. And I think as long as we don't eat too many AoEs here, we should be good. Nice, the Cold One Spear Riders are out. And we just gotta keep pushing towards Mazda Mundi here, I guess. We'll keep sending in Orion towards him and the Glade Captain, just because they are quite tanky, and we're not too worried about them at all. Horn of the Wild Hunt will be coming back soon, but I don't think it'll make a huge impact here. Now, we definitely don't want to be taking too much fire from these skinks, so we're going to see if we can push them back with our cavalry here. And hopefully, with the cavalry, we can we can get them to rout. That way, they won't be able to pepper us down, and it'll just be a melee fight between Orion and Mazdamundi. Everything else here isn't exactly a great fighter. It is basically all just skinks. So I'm feeling pretty confident. The Horn of the Wild Hunt too did help out with the few charges that we do manage to get in here. And given the fact that Orion's Cloak of Isha should be triggering soon, I think we should be fine. Now we will throw down a healing here instead of on the Sylvan Knights. Just because we have more troops here, it'll have a bigger effect for the healing. And that should keep this Glade Captain alive longer at the very least, but we are running into a problem now that our infantry is becoming a little bit slim, and Mazdamundi is about to get some of his devastating charges in here, which is not great. We have chased off the skinks here though, which is a huge loss of ammo for the lizardmen. But they also have these very pesky skink chiefs that I honestly I'm not too sure how we're gonna deal with them. Optimally, Orion will be able to get in on top of them in combat, and I guess we also have the Sylvan Knights to jump on top of them. But in late game situations, the skink chiefs can really just can kite you into oblivion. And with their high ammunition, they won't be able, they won't really be stopping anytime soon. So that's definitely a big worry. But given the current status of our single entities here, I think we should be fine. Orion plus the Glade Captain is a very strong combo, and it looks like they should be able to take out Mazdamundi. As for these chameleon skinks, if they do decide to disengage, we will just let them run, since I would much rather have these Wildwood Rangers on top of the skink chiefs to stop these guys from firing, because eventually they will whittle away Orion's HP, same with the Glade Captain. We definitely don't want that. So, shutting them down is going to be a big priority, and we have our Sylvan Knights and our Wildwood Rangers to shut them down. But it doesn't even come to that. We managed to push the Lizardmen into army losses and pull a victory for the Wood Elves. One of my first in a while, actually. And it looks like the rush build actually did okay. Our cavalry just about paid for themselves. Wildwood Rangers, they did okay. They were more suited to fight Saurus. But I think the real heroes here were Orion and this Glade Captain. They really ran down Mazdamundi and just kept them busy for the whole game. He was able to disengage and use all of his winds of magic, but by taking him out, it sort of cleared out the board for us. As for the cavalry, it sort of just got traded out. So nice. So, for this ace match, we are playing as a Vampire Coast against the Dark Elves of our opponent, the Treacherous One. And we have gone for a full-on rush. But, for his build, we are seeing that he... Oh dear, my hotkeys all mixed up. Yeah, it looks like he wanted to go for a rush himself. That means that we could run into some issues here. It won't be as simple of a win. But early on, we do have some options available to us, and that's just skirmishing with our mobile forces here. The bombers don't have to worry about the range of these dark shards very much, and they can start putting in a lot of damage onto the infantry here. While the dark shards fire away, Luther can send in a breath attack, doing a lot of damage there onto the dark shards. And we should also be able to use our bombers here. Now already, nice start. We routed off the left flank. But oh man, we missed a burning head, which puts in a lot of damage onto our sirens. We are also taking dark shard fire. But it's not as scary as high elf archers, just because their range is much shorter. Puts them at risk of getting pushed back by zombies, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Meanwhile, the Mournguls will be covering the flanks. And now that the front line has sort of opened up a bit, we'll be using our scurvy dogs to rush into the back. There is a whole lot of cavalry though that we'll have to worry about, but that's why we have our handguns at the ready to put in a lot of damage. Cavalry is coming into my scurvy dogs though, so we'll have to pull them back. And just keep peppering them with handgun fire, and that should get them to rout. My vampire caster though does get charged in on by a Malekith here. And we're going to have to try helping her out by sending in Luther. A big heal from Nahek should help too. And she does manage to get it off, which is great. But let's see, we're still having a little bit of a problem here with the Dark Shards operational and on the right flank. And we'll have to see how well Luther does in this fight here. We do have our handguns available, and their support is likely what's going to be tipping the balance here. And there we go, putting in a lot of fire onto Malekith and this Beastmaster, really tipping the fight into the favor of Luther here. Means that we are feeling a lot more confident now. Meanwhile, along the right flank, we've managed to keep all of these Dark Riders occupied for a very long time. And let's see, with the Beastmaster gone, and Luther still relatively healthy, I think we should be able to carry out a win. Malekith does disengage from Luther, but that just means it's easier for my handguns to fire in on him. And I think now is the time we go for the death blow and just finish off Malekith here. So it looks like the sniping attempt that went down onto my caster has been punished severely. And I think from that, we can probably just carry out a win at this point. Yeah, always be careful moving into the back line of Vampire Coast, because without support, those handguns are really vicious. So there we go. I didn't cover nearly as much as I wanted to in that game. So we can go over some details in the end screen here. We saw the Mournguls were very nice for just holding down the flank against the cavalry. And essentially what happened is that after he dived in with Malekith and the Beastmaster, the backline was able to just mulch them down. He getting a lot of value just off of those few shots, which worked out pretty well. It's also why you can go really wide with your front line. That's because you're not as worried about things sneaking past. It's actually just a bit too dangerous. Our bombers here were also very effective versus the infantry, even post-nerf. And I did miss my go with my sirens. As for the bombers, we saw that they were effective, and yeah, that's a general idea of how this build works. Also nice for rushing bolt throwers. Now for the Treacherous One, he had a pretty nice build too. But I think just a few too many misplays stacked up is what caused the downfall there. So GG. Our next opponent for today is Legi0n. And he's playing Vampire Counts, counterpicking our Wood Elves here. Our build consists of a very High Elf-esque style with a ton of archers, some powerful cavalry, and a Spellweaver of high magic with Tempest. So usually this would be Alarielle with Dragon Princes, and Lothar and Seaguard for the backline, along with archers. So our backline is going to be a little bit more vulnerable, and we'll have to see how that goes. Looks like Legi0n is ready, and we're going to start off with some shenanigans. We're going to throw down Loric's Blessing onto our cavalry, and that'll make it so that Legi0n can't actually see where they're going. And you can see now they are indeed stealthed, and they will continue to be stealthed for the next 12 seconds. He is positioning his bats though to scout for them, and it looks like he will be able to spot them. But you know, maybe we can get some charges off on these Blood Knights. I don't know how well this will go. Let's see. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of damage on the charge. But the Blood Knights take some damage too. I think we do want to disengage though. A breath attack comes in also. But it looks like we should be able to get a pretty nice disengage. Now there are knights moving in along these sides that we'll have to worry about. But it looks like we got a decent trade there. The Blood Knights took a lot of damage. And should also be able to kill these Fellbats too. So that's pretty nice. We also outmaneuver the Vampire Count's army, in that our infantry is actually quite fast. And by sort of pivoting here, we'll make sure that these Crypt Ghouls will take a really long time to actually get to us. In the meantime, we'll be firing in as many shots as we can, and just picking apart the infantry as quickly as possible. At this point, we have indeed shut down the Fellbats. And maybe we want to move in onto the Von Karstein Lord at this point. Wow, and he's actually going in pretty aggressively. We're going to throw down an Overcast Tempest, and then turn our archers to fire in on him. He does summon some zombies, but that is still going to be an extremely bad trade for him, as he takes about 1 million damage. And there we go. That is a very low HP Von Karstein Lord. The Tempest lasts absolutely forever, and he is on the verge of death. Meanwhile, our cavalry here is stealthed, so he can't see the countercharge coming in, and they're going to slam into those Blood Knights for a ton of damage. And we can just continue moving back with our archers now. They're also getting in a lot of shots onto the bats here. And wow, things are going amazingly right now. We're continuing to kite along the right flank, denying it, because we don't have our cavalry there to support. And as soon as these bats are gone, you know what, even before they're gone, I think we can just focus the Terrorgeist with our massed amounts of infantry here. So our archers are now firing in. We have our Eternal Guard holding up very well, just delaying as much as they can. And if we can take out this Terrorgeist, that is a major mobile asset for the Vampire Counts shut down. There are dogs coming in though, that we'll have to worry about. We do have archers covering. They should be able to put in a lot of damage on them. But things could get dicey here with the cavalry in the back. They are just a few dog units though, so I think they aren't too threatening to our archers here. And they should be able to hold long enough for our cavalry to come in and support. It looks like that will be the case. We'll just put in some healing on top of our cavalry to make sure that they can make it. Then I think we should be good. Another Loric's Blessing onto our cavalry. We'll make them harder to spot. And there we go. GG. A fun old build against the Vampire Counts. I don't know if he was expecting that Tempest, because that Tempest was disgusting. It destroyed his lord. Look at that value. What's going on? All right. Yeah, I'm just gonna take a quick screenshot of that. Real quick. That is rough. Really showing that the high elf playstyle can definitely work there. He was definitely spec'd out for many different types of cheese that the Wood Elves could bring, but less so this strategy. As for Loric's Blessing, I think it's absolutely amazing, and I'll be using that on cavalry a lot more, because what it actually does is it guarantees you a charge with your cavalry without being countercharged, which is just brilliant. I'm gonna be playing with that a lot more. Man, that's exciting. Now for this next game against Legi0n, we've counterpicked his Tomb Kings with Vampire Counts, and our goal for today is to win that infantry fight as hard as we can. We have a Mortis Engine, Claw of Nagash, 1 million skeletons, no, not 1 million skeletons, no skeletons, and we've actually gone really elite on the infantry front with a lot of AoE too. Double White King and a Claw of Nagash. And we're hoping that this setup will be able to clear up all of these Tomb Guard, all of the Skeleton Spearmen, and then it's just cycle charging this whole group to death. So that's the plan. And it really only falls apart if our opponent Legion here only dodge a few of those shots. It only works if Legion runs out of infantry. So I'm not sure if that's gonna be the case, but we'll have to see. Now this box is very tight, which means scab scrats will be able to do a lot of damage. And yeah, if we can just knock out these Tomb Guard, I think we're good. So we're moving up our White Kings to begin scab scrapping. And we also have breath attacks here too that'll do good. But oh hey, there are the Eyes of the Desert here. It will be pushing back my White Kings. Spirit Leech coming down on my Lord too. And I wonder if we can trap these guys up in zombies. It looks like probably not, and they're moving to safety now. So we'll just disengage. Then continue moving forwards now. We're almost in Scab Scrat range. Stalkers have been mostly negated in terms of their damage. Have the Mortis Engine coming in. And I think we should be good. Double Scab Scrat coming down. Hits all the Tomb Guard for 1,000,000 damage, and that's a very nice start. So, that's even before the mainline fighting comes in. And we have 2 more charges of that to go. So, I think this is a really nice position. We want to get the Mortis Engine in now, and to engage with our infantry to really start grinding down these Tomb Guard. Crypt Ghouls should do pretty good here too. And I think a breath attack is what we want to be doing. To, oh geez, whoops. Oh man, Stalkers here though are putting in a lot of damage onto my Lord. And we're going to have to pull him out before he gets absolutely murdered here. Crypt Horrors are moving in. And it's just grinding out the Tomb Kings now. We're going to be cycle charging monsters where we can and staying away from those Stalkers, who are quite scary here. It looks like they're repositioning. And they're going to be keeping my Dragon Lord out of the fight for quite a while, I imagine. See, we'll just continue to disengage with him and see if we can find an opportunity to use a breath attack. It seems like we've actually been a little bit too risky with this guy. Getting him very much picked off. Not the best situation. But here we go. I think we have found our opportunity to throw in a breath attack. So come on, just give me that breath attack. Going to be firing it down onto Tomb Guard, or at least that's the goal, because they are the most elite infantry here for the Tomb Kings. The Sphinx, overextending a tiny bit to close in onto my Mortis Engine, will get charged, and it should take some pretty good damage here. We'll have to see. And as for these Tomb Guard, we're just going to continue scab scrapping. And there we go, some very nice hits. Get them down to crumbling and very close to dead. So that's pretty good. It's just a bunch of skeleton spirits at this point. Mortis Engine is still going. And I think we can shut down these Eyes of the Desert again. We're doing this so that they don't shut down this Mortis Engine. And that it can just continue fighting as much as possible. As for our Lord, he's going to be cycle charging the Titan here now. And that should be a pretty good target. The Hyrule Titan is not a crazy duelist, and we expect our Lord to be able to get a lot of damage in with his cycle charges. A big invocation of Nahek here should do well too. And you know what? I think we're actually seeing a pretty good opportunity for a breath attack on this Sphinx. So we're going to be trying to throw that down. Getting decent damage, but not amazing. And instead, we're just going to charge in. See how well that does. We're heading into the phase where it's trying to focus these single entities now. And it looks like we're doing an okay job. Our Lord has hit the Sphinx for a lot of damage. And if we can focus that down, there aren't too many threats left for the Tomb Kings. So another charge in onto the back means that we'll have a higher chance of hitting it. And it gets good damage. The Eyes of the Desert are also a threat. And to make sure that they don't get any shots off, we're going to be chasing them with our Crypt Horrors. Oh man, but our Lord takes a lot of damage. We're going to have to throw it down in the heck. And hopefully he'll live. He stabilizes. And we're good. He does manage to live. So a little bit of a scary situation there. Because if our Lord dies, we don't really have a whole ton to deal with the Tomb Kings. Scab Scrath here to deal with the infantry. Should be able to finish clearing them out, which means that it should really just be a few troops left for the Tomb Kings. Once they're out of infantry, I think our our White Kings should be able to do well. And then that should be game. But we'll have to see. I'm not sure how this late game situation plays out. We do have all three of our Graveguard units. And the Spirit Leeching should finally be over for the Tomb Kings. With another big hit from our Dragon Lord, that should be good. We are losing the Mortis engine though. And a heal on that to try and save it is going to be our best option here. But it is fully surrounded now, and I expect the Mortis engine to fall. Indeed it does, which is not great, but we still have a pretty insane infantry advantage. Our White Kings will be able to fight the Necrotect, and in fact, in general, I think our White Kings can probably just kill everything here, given how much infantry we have. The big deciding factor is the fact that we have so many Graveguard, and as soon as these Eyes of the Desert are shut down, we can move our Lord above, and even though he's too low to cycle charge, we can spam the Helm of Discord to really put these guys in a bad place. So there we go. He's now above, and Helm of Discord to really debuff all of these troops. Will make them go down much faster. Eyes of the Desert do path through to try and get their shots off on my Dragon Lord, but a little bit of maneuvering should keep him safe. We have lost one White King though, and like I said, they are some of my main methods for actually killing all the single entities here. So I'm going to heal up the remaining one to try and keep him alive so that he can finish off all these guys. And it looks like he's doing okay. The White King is now healed up. Our Dragon Lord hasn't taken damage in a while now that we've killed the Death Caster. And with the Stalkers down, it means we can even start cycle charging with him. So with all of that considered, I think we managed to pull out a win, guys. Let's see here. Man, these Eyes of the Desert, though, just refusing to die. At 3 models and crumbling. We still have to run away from them, even 10 minutes into the game. But a little bit of running around should finally get them to crumble away. How much HP do these guys have? Okay, it's going to take a while before they crumble away. But that should be fine. Our White King is still being an absolute beast, putting in a lot of damage. This Corpse Cart too is very hard to focus down, just because of all the infantry. And we still have 3 Graveguard units. They Graveguard are elite infantry, and they specialize in not dying. They have an insane amount of HP, and the Sternsmen with their regeneration are really just they won't die ever unless you have some crazy AoE. So with all that and all the time bought, all we got to do really is move in with our Lord, throw in a big breath attack. We position directly above to make sure that the attack lands fully. And there we go. We managed to put in a good amount of damage onto the Hyro Titan. Another Helm of Discord will be able to assist in tearing these guys down. And yeah, this really shows the strengths of the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. He has his Helm of Discord buff, which is really just insanely strong. Even outside of combat, still be quite the beast. Now, we could land with our Lord if things get dicey, but that's sort of it's an unnecessary risk that we don't have to take. So we'll leave them in the air till things get a little bit more dicey, and simply leave the game to our Grave Guard, carry it out. And there we go. The Tomb Kings do hit army losses, and we can just finish them off by landing with our Lord. GG! Nice. So our strategy did indeed work out as we planned. The Mortis engine was able to stick in the fight for a while, mostly paying for itself. But I think the real heroes here, the Double White King. Scab Scrath is an amazing ability, and used on Tomb Guard, it is insane. You can see the value of the Tomb Guard here getting punished severely, getting almost no value because of the Scab Scraths. Yeah, and from there, it was as expected. Just yeah, clearing out the infantry for the Grave Guard to win the game. And that is one way you can deal with single entities. So there we go. Go ahead and change the score. We have 1 hour best of 3. And go ahead and go over to my ranked ladder. Like Legion's already dealt with that stuff, so nice. Legion saying that the Wood Elf game will haunt him in his dreams. Oh dear. But anyways, so like I said earlier, I am going to be a little bit busy. Just working on the bot, getting videos posted and so on. So we will close it for now. It looks like we actually did go all the way to 140 today, so a pretty nice long stream. Thanks. So yeah, we'll be closing it out. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming in to watch. We'll be playing more best of 3s like this in the future. So if you're interested, do stick around. Tomorrow we'll be playing more, and every weekday around the same time. Artemis Shanks, sorry. Yeah, I will eventually be increasing the number of hours that I stream to, but for now, just to avoid burnout, we're sticking with 1 hour, 30-minute streams. Hey, if you want to watch more content, perfect question. Down below we have, or down below we have more. You can go to my YouTube channel where you can see all my VODs. So that should be quite fun.